Good morning. My name is Arjit Paul, and I'm the trainer for the AI Content Architect course from Uplatz. Today's topic is enhancing video with AI effects. So, in this lesson, we are going to learn how we can use AI powered tools like Runaway ML to add cinematic effects, automate captions, transitions, and repurpose videos at scale. So, before starting this course, let me just remind you that will help you with every methodology, every detail of each of this section in this course, where we'll get end-to-end understanding on how to use all of these tools and learn how to be proficient with it. So, it will also provide you with end-to-end documentations and references as well. So first we have section 1, runaway ML for advanced effects. So we have prepared end-to-end documentation for the same. And we can just copy section 1, and then we can go into Chat GPT where we have our project, and we can get our end-to-end understanding. So we'll say, help me with end-to-end understanding of section 1 of the 12 in an engaging way. Right, so we have an absolutely engaging end-to-end way of understanding section 1 runaway ML for advanced effects from day 12. Section 1 focuses on runaway ML for advanced effects, where we make our videos look Hollywood ready, no film school needed. What is runaway ML? So imagine having an AI powered film studio in your browser. Runway ML is just that. Whether you're creating TikToks, YouTube content, or branded marketing reels, Runway ML gives you professional grade video effects without needing to master Premiere Pro or After Effects. It's trusted by indie creators, content teams, and even studios behind Netflix documentaries. Cool, right? What makes Runaway ML so powerful? So here are some mind-blowing AI features you get access to with zero technical editing experience. The first feature we have is AI green screen. And what it does, it removes and replaces backgrounds. No need for a physical green screen. Then we have style transfer where we want your video to look like Van Gogh painted it or like Pixar animation. You can apply creative filters instantly. Next we can have is in painting, where we remove unwanted objects like your cat walking into frame. AI fills in the background flawlessly. Next, we have an option of motion tracking, where we add text or effects that follow a moving object. It is great for understanding and track motion. It's great for captions, highlights, or spotlight effects. We follow this up with text to video, where if we type a scenic forest with glowing particles, AI generates a video from scratch. It's wild, right? We'll also have so many options of AI tools that we can explain this in simple ways. So first we can use step-by-step way where we are using Runway ML like a pro. So let's say you just shot a short intro video, but your messy room is in the background. Here's how we can fix it with Flair. We can sign up at runwayml.com. We can upload our video. It can be drag, drop, or done. We can select the AI tool where we can choose green screen or any other effect from the toolbar. We can adjust settings where we have the background blur option. We can replace it with a beach. We can add lightning effect. The next step is to preview your edits, which can be smooth, cinematic transitions in real time. Next, we can export our final video in HD or even 4K. You can have the real use case as well, real life use case. So let's say you're a coach recording a tutorial, but shot it into your living room. Runway ML lets you remove the background where it make it look like a sleek office, add subtle lighting effects, overlay motion following callouts like step 1 and step 2, export all in 10 minutes where we can understand that it is ready for YouTube, LinkedIn on our course platform. That is amazing. That is how we can understand in the best way possible how we are able to perform all these steps. So that's how we can understand how we are able to get all this done in the best way possible. Let's say you're a coach recording a tutorial but shot it into your living room. What Runway ML lets us do? It lets us remove the background, add subtle light effects, overlay motion following callouts, and export everything in 10 minutes. So you can have a pro tip where multicam editing in Runway is a beast. So if you recorded a 3 camera shoot, A roll, B roll, screen recording, you can apply a filter like color grading or blur once and sync it across all angles. It's a massive time saver for editors juggling multiple tracks. Let's have a recap and understand why we will love this. In other words, what's the best advantages of Runway ML? Firstly, you don't need to be a video editor. You don't need a fancy setup. You'll walk away with videos that look expensive and polished. Whether you are a solopreneur, a startup social media lead, or a YouTube creator, Runway ML makes AI enhanced video editing fast, intuitive, and scalable. This is what we can understand from the first section. So let's understand all the runway features for creators. Okay. Let's try to unpack all the key features of Runway ML as per this second slide. So we have green screen, which is no setup. What it does, it removes and replaces your background with just one click. You don't have any need for a physical green screen. For example, you're filming a talking head YouTube video in your messy bedroom. So instead of worrying about the clutter behind you, just upload your video. We just need to upload our video, and that will be what is the next course because we are uploading it to Runway and replace the background with a clean office, a beach, or even a branded color gradient. So this is what we can understand in the best way possible, right? How we are able to understand how we are getting all these options. Now, that is something which is very, very important, right? For example, you're filming a talking head YouTube video in your messy bedroom. So instead of worrying about the clutter behind you, you upload your video to Runway and replace the background with a clean office, a beach, or even a branded color gradient. As a pro use, we can understand it is perfect for creating virtual offices, podcast studios, or webinar backdrops. Right, so we have a lot of use cases where you can use this in the best way possible. Right. Next, we can have is understanding of AI magic tools. So AI magic tools can have motion brush, text to video. What it does, let's talk about motion brush first. So motion brush highlights any objects like your hand or a logo and apply animated effects like trails, sparkles or blur. Then we have text to video where we can describe a scene in words. For example, a neon lit city at night with flying drones. And AI creates a video from scratch. For example, you're designing an intro for your course. So instead of filming B roll, you just type your prompt and Runway generates a cinematic opener for you. As a fun use, you can use motion brush to make certain gestures pop with visual effects when teaching or presenting. Next, we have AI generated B rolls and overlays. So, what it does, Runway can automatically trigger or insert stock B roll and visual overlays based on your script or theme. That is what we are able to understand over here. What we are able to do and what we are able to achieve is pretty much the outcome which we wanted to understand. And it really, really helps us and saves a lot of our time in the best way possible. That is what we can understand. Right. Here we can have an example. So, in a vlog where you mentioned working at a coffee shop, the AI finds and overlays the coffee shop visuals while your audio continues. That is what we are able to understand. As a time saver, we can see that it is ideal for creators who wants to visualize abstract concepts or create training videos without spending hours browsing stock footage. Point number 4 is collaborative and browser based. So, what it does, you don't need to download software. Runway runs entirely in your browser and even supports collaborative editing. So, your video editor or client can give feedback live. For example, You're co creating a brand video with a remote teammate. You both can log into the same project and edit or leave comments. No file sharing is required. As a bonus, it works on most systems like Mac, Windows, Chromebook since it's cloud based. We also have additional hidden gems which you should know. So here we got the feature and what it enables. These things are very, very important to understand. So we have the additional hidden gems which we should know, and under this we also got slow motion via AI, where it converts normal speed videos into buttery smooth slow motion, even if not shot in 60 fps. So here we got the multicam editing where we apply filters and transition across multiple clips in sync. Next, we got voice cleanup where we use studio sound to remove background noise and echo. Right. Like test script but with more visuals. Then we got custom training where advanced users can fine tune AI models on their own brand aesthetic. So, this is a very advanced feature which can be used for agencies and brands alike. That is really amazing. Next, we can have the final creative example. Let's say you're launching a product and want to create an Instagram reel. What can we do? Right? We can type in a prompt woman using AI tool in modern office. That is something which we can do, right? So let's say you're launching a project and want to create Instagram reel, type prompt, add your own clip as overlay, use motion brush to highlight your product, add B-roll of grabs going up and close with a CTA, export in portrait, post to social. Done under 20 minutes, all using Runway. Right? That is what we can understand in the best way possible. Right. This is what we can understand as Runway features. We can also have example use case with Runway. Right. Let's try to get our understanding correct. So now we are breaking down the example use case Runway step by step. Step one is film raw talking head video. So what do? We record ourselves speaking directly to the camera. Maybe it can be a 6-second clip sharing an AI tip like here's how to use ChatGPT to plan a week's worth of content in 3 minutes. We can have the real world example where you are a LinkedIn creator or coach recording a series of daily tips. You use your phone to record the video in your bedroom or home office. Nothing fancy. So we are able to do all these things in the best way possible. So it's very important to understand this step by step, right? So, as a real world example, you're a LinkedIn creator recording a series of daily tips. You use your phone to record the video in your bedroom or home office. That is what we can understand. For step two, we have a lot of experience so that we can understand this in the best way possible. So we can upload our video to Runway ML and we can use the in painting erase tool to remove unwanted background objects. For example, there's a pile of laundry or a reflection in a glass behind you, right? So what can we do? We have a lot of options and lot of understanding as well, which we can create and which we can understand in the best way possible. Just give me 1 second. So, for example, we see there's a pile of laundry or a reflection in a glass behind you. With a few clicks, Runway removes those visual distractions without affecting your foreground. That is very, very important. Right. As a bonus, we can understand that no reshoots are needed. We can keep the clip, just erase the mess. Step 3 can be to apply cinematic background blur and export. So here what do? We use the depth blur filters in Runway to simulate DSLR style background blur, which is the bokeh effect. For example, Runway isolates you in the foreground and adds soft blur in the background, making it look like you recorded it on a high end camera, even though it was just your webcam or iPhone. This gives your video a polished, professional feel in seconds. Now, that is amazing. Step 4 is you can add text based animations via runway templates. So, here what do? We can drop in dynamic AI generated text overlays to highlight key phrases or CTAs. For example, while saying this AI tool saves me 5 hours a week, Runway animates the text 5 hours a week onto the screen in bold letters with motion effects. Uh, that is what we can understand in the best way, right? So we are getting to understand a lot of information and it's getting sourced in the best way. That is what we can understand, and it will really help us understand this tool better. Right. Just give me one example. Okay. So here we can add text-based animations via runway template. And in the final outcome, in under 20 minutes, you have turned a casual talking head video into a, a scroll stopping reel with distraction-free visuals, soft cinematic blur, attention-grabbing captions, branded animations. That is what we can understand in the simplest of ways. Right. So we are now using the final outcome, and all of this is done without traditional video editing software like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut. Right. As an activity, we can try to use Runway ML, and I would also suggest to also visit the documentation which we'll provide later. We can upload a test video, use green screen plus background replace. You can use this option. And also there is another way where we are able to get this information and we'll be able to export the enhanced video. And that is pretty amazing. Right. Just give me 1 second. Okay. I was trying to import the next topics. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So, next topic is adding subtitles, music, and transitions. So, let's try to use second sheet, second section. Right. So now we are trying to understand and break down section 2, music and adding subtitle, music and transitions automatically. Now, that is something which we can utilize and understand in the simplest of ways, right? So, what is the goal of this section? The goal is to help us edit videos faster and smarter using AI powered platforms that automatically add subtitles, musics, and transition, saving hours of manual work while making your content look pro level. That is very, very important to understand. Right. Now, let us try to understand the tools which we will use. The tools which we'll use here is Veed.io, and we can understand what it is great for. It's great for cleaning auto subtitles, beginner friendly editing. Next, we also got Pictree, and we understood a little bit of Pictree in the last lesson, where we talks about script to video with audio visuals, music, and effects. Next, we talk about Descript, which is basically text based editing. It is great for correcting words and adding music, right? So, that is what we can understand. Next, we can understand the core features explained with example. So, we can understand the core features in the best way possible, right? And that is what we can understand. Where first we have the auto subtitling, and what it does, it converts your voice or dialogue into perfectly timed captions. For example, you're explaining this tool helped me repurpose 5 blogs in 10 minutes. So the AI generates this as an animated subtitle in sync with your voice. No typing is actually required, right? That is what we can understand. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Right. So we can also have the auto music selection, and we can understand what it does. So the AI picks background music to match your video's tone, pace, energy. For example, you upload a motivational tip video, the AI adds an upbeat background track without drowning your voice. You can change genre, intensity, and volume with a slider. In point 3, we have the smart transitions. So we can also understand what it does. It smoothly blends scenes using AI driven cuts, slides, fades, or zooms. Right. So, for example, if you're switching from talking head clip to a product demo, Runway or Pictree adds a clean motion blur transition between them automatically. So, that is what we can understand in the best way possible. Right. It eliminates awkward jumps or abrupt cuts. You can have the step-by-step workflow here. So let's say you just recorded a 60-second video clip. Here's how we can edit this effortlessly. So as we can understand here, we have first step called upload, where we upload this to read.io or Descript. That is one option which we have. Right. Then we can have, if you're using a blog post instead, we can paste the script into Pictory. That is one option which we can utilize. Right. Next, we can add transitions where we either use auto transitions or drag smart templates between clips. Next, we can adjust speed and style if needed. That is what we can understand in the best way possible, right? So, this is where we can talk about all of these steps in the best way as we can, right? Next, we can have the bonus hack with Pictory. So we can paste a blog or script into Pictory and it will create scene by scene visual, add subtitle and auto align with narration, add royalty free music, let you preview and export a final video in under 10 minutes. That is what it can do, and that is what we can enable in the easiest and simplest way possible. Right. So you can also understand why this matters. So this workflow allows non-editors and also busy professionals to look like video pros. So coaches can subtitle webinars in 5 minutes. Creators can turn one video into multiple formats. Brands can post consistent, polished content daily. So that is what we can understand in the best way possible. So herein we can find all these options and be able to use and understand more and more of our work. So basically, that is how we can understand how we can add subtitles, music, transitions, where we use AI tools to automate the polish layer. The tools we use is CapCut AI, ViceCut, Pictory, Runway. We can add subtitles in brand style. We can choose royalty free background music with AI suggestions. Right. Next, we have automated transitions and sound. So let's try to take a screenshot. Let's try to understand this. So slide is titled Automated Transitions and Sound. It highlights how modern AI video editing tools like Pictree, vid.io, and Descript take care of key editing elements automatically, giving your videos a polished, professional look and feel without you having to do any manual thinking or dragging in timelines. We can break this down line by line with example. So first we can match transitions to script structure. So what this means, AI tools analyze your video or script and insert transitions between scenes or paragraphs intelligently. For example, you paste in a blog with 5 tips. The AI creates fade ins or slide transitions between each tip to signal a new section. Right? That is what we are able to understand. And this is something which is very important and which we should always consider. Right. Right. So we can also understand how we don't have to manually mark the points. We can see that AI does it based on the end to end content flow because that is the most important element, right? We can now also understand the tools that does this. They are called Pictree or Veed.io. So that is something which is very important and which we can highlight in the simplest of ways. Okay. And second point is we can use sound effects sync to speech. So now we can understand what it means. Sound effects like swoosh, clicks, or whoosh are automatically added and aligned to your voice or gestures. For example, you're pointing to a word on screen, a pop sound is added precisely at that gesture. Why it's powerful? It makes the video feel cinematic and engaging without requiring manual thinking, right? Tools that does this, what are the tools that does? It's CapCut, v.io. We can also add intros, outros automatically. So we can also understand what it means. So AI tools let you set brand templates that are auto inserted at the start and end of your videos. You can complete this with logo animations and call to actions. It's known as CTA slides. So, for example, at the beginning, we can have Welcome to AI Tips with Arijit. At the end, we can subscribe for more AI tutorials. Next, we can have the background music, which is auto match to tone. So, what it means, AI chooses music that matches your video's emotion or pace without you browsing libraries manually. For example, you upload an energetic product demo, the AI selects upbeat electronic music. That is amazing. We can upload a calm instructional video where it picks soft ambient tones. You can have the tools that does this, Descript, Pictree, CapCut. So as a summary, what we can understand that this entire slide shows how AI reduces manual work in video editing. With just a script or a raw video, these tools automatically add subtitles, select music, insert scene breaks, enhance emotional flow, which gives a studio quality result in minutes. That is amazing. What we are able to do with this, right? Okay. So now we can understand how we can enable all these options, and it really gives studio quality result in minutes. That is the USP of this. If we're going to the slide, then we see that we understand automated transitions and sound. We can also understand the pro tools that do this. We have CapCut, auto transitions, and captions. Another is ViceCut for AI auto leveling. Then we have Pictree for music suggestions. And we got Runway ML for motion syncing. That is amazing. We can have an activity called AI Polish Pass, right? So here we can use any short video. We can add subtitles using CapCut or Pictree. We can choose and apply music or transitions. Next, and the last part is we can export a polished version. And that's something which we can do in simplest of steps. And that is really, really fascinating. How we are able to perform all these steps in the best of ways. We can now move to the last section, batch editing and repurposing. This is going to be the last section of this day. We are going to understand how we can scale our content with batch processing. Right, we have the end-to-end documentation. Right. Section 3 talks about batch editing and repurposing, where we need to work smarter, not harder. So, what's the goal? You have a long form video like a 10-minute YouTube episode, webinar, or tutorial, and you want to automatically turn it into multiple shorter pieces that are perfect for different platforms without repeating the same edit 10 times. We can think of it like turning a single pizza into different slices for TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but with AI doing the slicing and plating for you. You can also have the tools which we'll use. Each one we can use with a superpower. So we can have the tool called Veed.io Pro, and we can understand what it does best. It can add subtitles and resize videos for multiple platforms at once, which otherwise is known as batch mode. Then we got CapCut Desktop Web, where we apply visual templates and filters across many clips in a single action. Right. Then we got content fries, where we can turn long videos into bite-sized viral clips with AI scene detection. That is great. Then we got Descript Studio Sound, which automatically enhances audio for multiple clips. It can be clean, clear, studio like. That is really, really amazing. So, that is where we can understand all the tools which we can use. So, what is the batch editing workflow? We can understand this in a step by step way. Step one is upload to YouTube, where we can choose our long form video. For example, how I use AI for video editing, 10 minutes. We can upload to Content Fries or CapCut Web. Step two is split it into short segments. We can use AI scene detection to break your video into highlight worthy clips. Then we have content fries, which identifies pauses, topic shifts, and visuals automatically. Step three is applying branding templates. So in CapCut or read.io, we can select your logo, lower the thirds, fonts, and music. We can apply these across all clips at once where you don't have to repeat anything. Step 4 is export in multiple formats where we have 16:9 YouTube. Then we got 9:16 in form of Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Next step we got 1:1 or 4:5 in form of LinkedIn or Facebook. You now have 6 to 10 pieces of content from just one original video. You can have the smart repurposing ideas. So we know how we can make each clip stand out, where we have the repurposing task, tool, and example. So in repurposing task, we can add subtitles. The tools we can use is veed.io. And as example, we can make our videos scroll stopping and accessible. We can have all these options in the best way possible. Right, so this is where we can have such a great look in the most optimal time. So what we'll walk away with, this is what we can understand. By the end of this section, we'll have transformed one video into 6+ content pieces, saved hours using AI scene detection and batch exports, improved audio and visuals using one-click AI tools, maximized reach across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. So that is what we can understand from section 3, batch editing and repurposing. We can scale our content with batch processing, create 5 to 10 short videos from one long form video. As tools, we can use Descript, Pictree, CapCut, and Runway. We can repurpose for YouTube Shorts, IG, LinkedIn, etc. That is amazing. How we can batch edit using AI? That is something which we need to understand, right? So we can transcribe a long video in Descript or Pictree. That is one option which we have, and one way which we can use. So that is one option where we can transcribe a long video in Descript or Pictree. We can mark sections to auto clip. We can add consistent intro, outro, caption, music. Then we can export as multiple short form videos. We have the smart repurposing tips as well, where we have the very hooks for different audiences. We can use same footage, different captions. We can tailor format like 9:16 for Reels, 1:1 for LinkedIn. We can keep CTAs platform specific. Now, that is something which we can use in the best way possible. We have an option where we are also able to clip 3 micro videos, which can be 30 to 60 seconds each. We can add custom captions or music for each. And at the last stage, we can export and post to 3 different platforms. So we have come from day 12 summary and homework where we have understood how we can enhance video with AI effects using Runway ML. We have added captions, music, and transitioned automatically. We have practiced batch editing and platform specific repurposing, right? So, as an extended homework, what we can do, we can publish 3 AI enhanced micro videos using AI enhanced micro videos. So, that is what we can understand with our end to end purpose. So, this is how we can come across the end of today's lesson. Until then, thank you so much.